Thapelo Amad has resigned as Johannesburg mayor. This is just hours before he was due to face a motion of no confidence. Now, the Gauteng ANC chairperson, Panyaza Lesufi, made the announcement on behalf of the governing coalition last night. Ahmad was elected into office in January of this year following a successful no confidence motion in the DA's Mpho Phalatse. Well, let's get some reaction now, and we speak to some of the political parties that have been part of this governing coalition. And in studio, I have the ANC's provincial spokesperson in Gauteng, Lesego, Makhubela, and via the virtual platform is the Patriotic Alliance's Deputy President, Kenny Kunene. There you see him on your screen. Gentlemen, thank you very much for your time. I'm going to start here in studio, and I'm going to ask that we pace this up because of time constraints. Mr. Makhubela, the ANC supported the candidacy of Thapelo Amad, and he then became mayor. But immediately after that, there was this suggestion that the ANC is going around installing puppet mayors in some of the municipalities in Gauteng. Do you agree with that assessment?
It's a very wrong assessment. We had to rescue the city of Johannesburg, just like we had to try to rescue the city of Tshwane and Ekurhuleni and other municipalities from a racist government of the DA and its puppet political party Action SA. And therefore, we had to work within what the 2021 elections gave us. We had to work with other parties that are represented in those particular councils in order to make that happen. Karl Marx makes it very clear that men make history, but they do not do it as they please. They do not do it under self-selected circumstances. So the circumstances we find ourselves in is that the electorate gave us a fruit salad in terms of all these councils that are represented. And we have to not bury our heads in the sand. We have to try to make it work. The next elections, local government elections, are in 2026. So we can't wait until we arrive at a situation of Tshwane, where you have Moody's, who have downgraded Tshwane to junk status, where they can't even borrow any cent from any of our banks, where you have the city of Tshwane, which wrote to the Auditor General, falsified its financial standing. That's the Auditor General report, where it cannot account for over 30 billion of its budget, where everything has collapsed. Johannesburg was actually progressing to that particular state of Tshwane.
All right.
Ekurhuleni was progressing there, so we could not wait. So we don't take any of our partners that we work with in this council as puppets. They have their own policies, they have their own constituencies, ideologies, and we meet and we talk with them. Yes.
All right. So I think you've said a mouthful, but let's come back to what you are saying, that you don't take the people that are installed in these councils as puppets. So what was the reasoning behind why Thapelo Amad has already thrown in the towel just months into this role? I mean, he was only confirmed into office in January. We're now sitting towards the end of April, and he's already quit. What is it about this particular role that he found difficult?
Both myself and the other guest with a nice Lacoste jacket are not spokespersons of Thapelo Amad or his party. But we can tell you that the coalition that we are trying to build is one born of mutual respect, one born of robust engagement, one born of healthy debates, one born of humble political parties that are able to sit down and say, this is not working, this is working.
All right.
And that's why all the parties that broke away from the DA said to them, it's either our way or the highway. That's not the case. No. You ran a story.
Mr. Makhubela, yes. Let me stop you there because I've only got 6 minutes.
Yes.
Let's bring in Mr.
No problem.
Mr. Kunene. Kenny Kunene, you are joining us via Zoom. Let's get your sense. I've asked a very simple question to Mr. Makhubela as to why it is that Thapelo Amad quit. Have you since understood why he has quit only 6 months? Sorry, rather not even 6 months, since January into this role?
Thank you, Voya, for having me. Number one, I don't know why he quit, but he asked for a meeting, which we then responded to. And at the Political Management Council, he then addressed us that his self-interest comes secondary. The GLU is much more important. The stability of the coalition is much more important. And therefore, he would like to resign so that he can put the GLU before himself. But he did not give us specific reasons why he is resigning.
And you gladly accepted the resignation?
We deliberated on the resignation, and once those deliberations were concluded, we then accepted the resignation. We appreciated the role that he had played. We thanked him, and then a press conference was then organized so that this pronouncement can be made.
Mr. Kunene, I'm sure the listeners or viewers watching, I don't think that they are any clear about why this resignation was just accepted from Mr. Ahmad without you probing further as to what it is. Only how many months into office? February, March, perhaps just barely 4 months into office, and he's already quit. Let me put a suggestion to you, and that is that yes. Mr. Makhubela here said that the electorate gave the various residents across South Africa a fruit salad. Can I make a suggestion that what you have done now, alongside your coalition partners, is exactly that you have given the residents of Johannesburg a fruit salad of a situation that now you are trying to rescue? What's your next plan?
No. Remember clearly, there are events that happened 2 weeks ago, and the Patriotic Alliance had a position on those particular developments. And there was going to be a vote of no confidence today. Mm-hmm. And the PA was clear on its stance. So, as the gentleman has said, I think what he's saying about the fruit salad means that the voters gave all of us different parties to govern. They did not give any party an outright majority. And that is why we came together and said, how do we then govern together and service our people? So there is no fruit salad that we are giving people. Thapelo Amad decided that he is resigning, and you can't ask a man deep questions. But obviously we deliberated on that resignation. And once those deliberations have happened, we accepted the resignation. We are not giving the residents of Johannesburg any fruit salad, but we are giving them stability. Mm-hmm. The coalition now is stable. The coalition is not going anywhere. The services are going to continue, and the GLU has committed to working hard to making sure that the stability of this coalition is protected so that we can continue to service our people the way we have been doing.
All right, Mr. Kunene, because of time, I have to cut short this conversation. But in short, can you tell us, when you say that the coalition government is intact in Johannesburg, what does that mean in practice? Because when the mayor resigns, the understanding is that his executive council, or the people that he governs with, that particular MMC or mayoral committee is dissolved. So where do you get this idea that the coalition government in Johannesburg is not going anywhere?
The coalition government is intact, Polani. When the mayor resigns, indeed, the mayoral committee collapses. Mm-hmm. However, next week, Tuesday, there will be a council sitting. A new mayor will be elected. And in that same council sitting, the new mayor will then announce the mayoral committee. and I envisage that continuity will happen. From the PA side. Its representatives in the mayoral committee will remain in those portfolios. So there is no crisis. There's no disaster. Next week Tuesday, the mayoral committee will be back. We will continue doing the work that we have been doing. The very good work, excellent work that has not been seen by residents of Johannesburg in a long time.
All right. Mr. Makhubela, I want to conclude with you and make a very controversial suggestion. And that is that, purely based on assessment, this is a deliberate act from the ANC to install other people who did not get as much votes as it did. Yes, it may not have gotten a majority, but you have now decided that you are going to destabilize these councils by putting in what the DA has referred to as puppet mayors, in order to tell the public that if you do the same thing in 5 years' time, this is the situation that you are going to be faced with. So you're punishing the residents, are you not?
You are actually drowning in your own narratives. The first narrative that you started with was that the ANC wants power by the back door, when all these parties were able to come sit down without us and decided, let's rescue these municipalities. Then the second assumption you made, and a narrative that you ran with for the longest of time, was to undermine these parties and said, no, this is a coalition of the EFF and the ANC. Now, a mayor resigns, who's part of this arrangement that we are talking about. Then you say, no, he's a puppet. No, he's been voted by the electorate. He's been voted by the people of Johannesburg. The Constitution tells you how parties are allocated. To undermine.
I have to stop you.
No, you can't.
Let me stop you.
Okay.
Let me stop you.
Okay.
And I'll tell you why I'm stopping you.
Yeah.
Your own leader of the ANC, Mr. Makhura, spoke the other day and said, it can't be that when, as a party in a coalition arrangement, you have gotten the most amount of votes and you decide that you are going to be governed by a very, very small party whose margin is this much. How does that particularly work with what you are saying, that the party that Mr. Ahmad belongs to was voted in by the people?
Was it not? Was it not voted in?
By a very small margin.
It was voted in. The challenge with having no outright majority in any of the council is that even one member of council carries a swing vote. In Tshwane, the difference between us and the DA candidate was 2 votes, very substantial votes that we could have gotten from anywhere. And that's why our arrangements are not based on the weight of the seats we have, but they are outweighed by the interest of the people that we want to serve. And that's the most important basic thing that we seem to be missing here. A single party, a party that has 1 vote, can carry a swinging vote. It can actually will to the other side, and that's the problem.